In 1995, we saw the beginning of Community Foundation Kingston Area. Now, 25 years later, we take a look back at the many successes. I'm joined by Tina Bailey, Executive Director of Community Foundation Kingston Area. Hey, Tina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you, Donna?
Great. So 25 years. Let's start with the numbers. Tell me the numbers.
Oh, goodness. Well, 25 years ago, we were founded as a community foundation. Before that, it operated as something called the Martello Tower Society. So when it was founded 25 years ago, there was $60,000 in a bank account. We now manage assets of about $23 million. And what that translates into is an incredible annual granting ability to support charities in the community. So total to date, we have granted since inception $12.5 million to hundreds of charities, most of them local. We do have funds where some donors provide grants outside of the Kingston area, but predominantly that's here. And then within our community grants program itself that we're most well known for probably, that's over $3.5 million to 355 local charities here in Kingston and area.
That is amazing, really. In 25 years, that is truly amazing. And why is that? Like, what do you attribute that success to?
Heart and passion and generosity of donors, volunteers, and really a vision for a better community for all of us. And that's how the Community Foundation had its roots. The foundation of the foundation was in the 1980s, actually, at a conference called The Courage to Dream, where a group of citizens got together to envision the future that they wanted. And, over the years, that's when the vision to establish as a community foundation came to be. And that was the milestone 25 years ago this week. So we join community foundations. There's 193 across Canada, thousands across the world. So it was established there. And I think it was just the vision and the commitment and the tireless pursuit of the dream to have a better community for us all in all fields of interest.
Well, you cover a lot of different fields. Now, you've been executive director for, well, quite a while now. How long's it been?
About 7 years.
7 years. So in the 7 years you've been involved, what one project that you funded still gives you a warm fuzzy?
You know what? I think there's two of them, if I can sneak in two. One of them, and these were both projects that were early on when I took over. One was a crock pot project in South Frontenac Community Services, where dealing with food insecurity and helping to provide healthy and nutritious meals to people. So there was a cooking class that taught people how to cook a nutritious meal from foods typically available at a food bank in a crock pot, because sometimes people don't have access to a working stove. And then at the end of the program, everybody received their own crock pot to take home so they could continue to cook their own meals. So that was one. The second that really struck me was with our Pathways to Education program here in Kingston, an amazing group that's really helping to increase graduation rates of local high school students. And we funded a project to take them on bus trips to look at campuses so that they could see that there was a world beyond high school. If they graduate, they can go on to post-secondary. So, I remember Wendy Vike at the time telling me the excitement, because a lot of the students certainly had never been out of the city of Kingston, but some of them had never been to Queen's campus. They had never come that far south in their own city. And that one just struck me as an incredible impact that this, relatively modest grant was able to provide. And since then, a lot of their students have gone on to post-secondary school.
Yeah, geez, I'm getting a warm fuzzy just hearing about that. That's
Yeah, and we fund dozens of these wonderful projects each year through the Community Grants Program in all fields, seniors, youth, environment, social services, you name it. I mean, I think that's the joy of the Community Foundation, is we are here to serve and support all charities benefiting all sectors to make life better for all of us here in Kingston. So it's a really incredible organization.
So where does your money come from? Donations? Do people leave it to you in their will? Where does the money come from?
Yeah, and both of those, Donna. 100% donations, no government funding. So yeah, it's everything from someone doing a $10 monthly gift to, you know, a $10,000 investment to establish a fund, to some of the significant bequest gifts. A few years ago, we reported on 3 gifts totaling 3.5 million. So it comes in all stages, and that's the power of the endowment fund model. It can start slow, but over time it grows, and then you're really ramping up the granting ability. When we started 60 years ago, we granted out probably only a few $1,000s in that first year. This year, looking at my numbers, we're on track to grant close to, if not meet that $1 million mark this year. And that's just from the earnings on those funds, those donations, small and large, that come into the foundation. So it's incredible. And, you know, I think this year more than ever, I'm struck by that, the value of those people's investments over the years in the community, because, you know, we know with COVID, the needs of charities are so high this year. And here is $1 million coming into the community from investments in the long-term benefit of our community by donors over the past 25 years.
Well, that's the other side of it. It's one thing for people to donate $100 and you pay out $100. But if someone donates $100 and it goes into a fund and starts to grow with investments, that really increases that power, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it takes a while to see that power. So if someone donates $100 into one of our endowment funds, exactly as you say, that $100 is invested, and it's only the earnings that are spent out over the years to come. So the first year it might not be, you know, that much, but if you do, you know, $1 this year, $1 next year, $1 the following year, you can see how over time it adds up. And that really struck me when one of the large funds that we manage was approaching its 10-year anniversary. And just out of curiosity, I totaled how much it had granted out in the 10 years. And it had granted out almost its full funds value, plus it had gained in value. So that shows that, you know, if you take that long-term approach, you really see the power of an investment.
That's yeah, it's a good way of putting it. So you probably had a bunch of projects. Everything's just humming along nicely around the 1st of March, and then everything goes sideways. So
Yeah.
what changed? You had to pivot very quickly. What happened? How did you deal with this new challenge that we're all facing?
Yeah, good question. So we were right in the middle of a granting program at the time. And so we decided to put a pause on that because those projects may not be relevant in the new COVID era. So, you know, as we spoke to your viewers about before, we did advance 3 projects that were completely relevant: the Sunshine Call List, Bereaved Families of Ontario, and Replacing a Stove at Lunch by George. So we moved those 3 ahead, and then the rest we decided we're going to wait and see. We're going to see where the needs in the community are. And then, you know, your viewers probably heard the federal funding announcement for the community support fund, where the government invested $350 million and is working through local community foundations like us and the United Way to disperse those funds. So right now our focus is on that grant application process, and then late summer, early fall, when those funds are deployed and we've seen the impact, we'll take another look and we'll see where the gaps are, and then look to release the rest of the funding through our community grants program in some sort of revised process, I would imagine.
Yeah, this has taken skills that no one ever really thought they needed before, but now we do. And pivoting is one of the big ones right now.
Yeah.
Well, 25 years, it's been a great success in our community, and I think you're a big part of that success, being the face of the community foundation. So congratulations. Thank you for being here, and continued success,
Well,
Tina.
thank you very much. I must say, though, as much as I get to be the public face of the Community Foundation, it truly is our volunteers, our donors, our staff that really make it. Together is better. Together is how we accomplish the great things that we do. So it is truly a team effort. And looking back at the years, you can see the number of the hundreds of citizens who have been involved in making this Community Foundation as strong as it is. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Tina.